You get a one-sentence email from your boss. Let's chat tomorrow. And cue the spiral. Immediately, your mind starts racing. What did I do wrong? Am I getting fired? Is this about that thing from 3 weeks ago? You then spend the next 24 hours replaying every mistake you think you've ever made. Sound familiar? That feeling of being a prisoner in your own mind, trapped by endless what ifs and worst case scenarios? That's overthinking. It's the cycle of repetitive, unhelpful thoughts that leaves you feeling exhausted and completely stuck. But what if you could break free? What if you could quiet that noise and reclaim your mental space? In this video, I'm going to share 4 simple but powerful mental shifts based on proven psychological wisdom that will help you stop the spiral and finally start living in the present moment. Let's be clear, overthinking isn't just thinking a lot. It's a destructive mental habit where your brain gets stuck on a hamster wheel, replaying the past or rehearsing future catastrophes. It feels like you're doing something productive, like you're problem solving, but you're not. You're just running in circles, draining your energy, and cranking up your anxiety. This pattern, often called rumination, can make tiny decisions feel monumental and can keep you from taking any action at all, a state known as analysis paralysis. And get this, your brain thinks it's helping. It mistakenly believes that if you just analyze every single angle, you can protect yourself from pain or failure. But the truth is, you can't build a happy life from inside a mental prison. The real solution isn't to think harder, it's to think differently. And that's the promise of today's video. We are going to walk through 4 evidence-based mental shifts designed to interrupt the cycle of overthinking. These aren't magic tricks, but practical, trainable skills drawn from established psychological practices like cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT. They will empower you to step out of the storm in your head and back into your life. All right, our first and most foundational shift is to stop identifying with your thoughts and start observing them instead. I call this the observer shift. Imagine you're sitting on the bank of a river. Your thoughts are like leaves floating by on the water. Some are nice, some are ugly, some are fast, some are slow. As the observer, your job isn't to jump into the river and grab every leaf. It's simply to sit on the bank and watch them go. This is the core of mindfulness. Acknowledging your thoughts without judging them, and then letting them pass. Here's why this is a game changer. Overthinking thrives when we believe every thought that pops into our head is urgent, true, and needs immediate action. The thought, I'm going to bomb this presentation, feels like a prophecy. But mindfulness practice helps you see it for what it is. Just a thought, a temporary mental event. By creating that little bit of space between you and your thoughts, you rob them of their power. You start to realize, I am not my thoughts. I am the one who is aware of my thoughts. This is the first part of a powerful CBT technique called catch it, check it, change it. The first step is just to catch it, to notice when you're spiraling. When you feel that familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach, or realize your mind is replaying a conversation for the 10th time, that's your cue. Just pause. So here's your first move, the 1-minute breathing anchor. The next time you catch yourself overthinking, stop. Find a quiet place if you can. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath in through your nose for 4 counts. Feel the air fill your lungs. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 counts. As you breathe, just notice your thoughts. Label them gently. Ah, that's a worry thought, or that's a planning thought, or there's that memory again. Don't fight them, just label them and then gently guide your focus back to the feeling of your breath. Do this for just 1 minute. This simple act anchors you in the present and proves you have the power to choose where to put your attention. Practicing this regularly builds your observer muscle, making it easier and easier to step out of the thought storm. Once you can watch your thoughts without getting swept away, it's time for shift number 2, the detective shift. Now we investigate. An overthinking mind is filled with what psychologists call cognitive distortions, thought patterns that are basically funhouse mirror versions of reality. It jumps to the worst conclusions, assumes your feelings are facts, and loves a good catastrophe. A detective, however, doesn't take any story at face value. A detective looks for cold, hard evidence. And that's exactly what you're going to do with your negative thoughts. Think of your mind as a courtroom. Your negative thought, everyone at the party thought I was awkward, is on trial. Instead of just accepting it as true, you, as the detective, need to cross-examine it. This is a core CBT technique called cognitive restructuring. You challenge the thought by asking it tough questions. For example, when the thought, "I'll never find a new job," shows up, a detective would ask, what's the actual hard evidence for this thought? Maybe you got one rejection email. And what's the evidence against it? You have skills. You've succeeded before. There are thousands of jobs out there. Is this thought a fact, or is it just my opinion? It's an opinion and it's fueled by fear. Okay, what's the absolute worst that could happen? Could I survive it? What's the best that could happen? And what's the most realistic outcome? When you put a thought through this kind of questioning, it often starts to fall apart. You realize it's not an objective truth, but a story you're telling yourself, a story based on fear, not fact. Here's your second actionable step, the one thought record. Take one recurring negative thought that's been bugging you, grab a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Make 4 columns. 1. Situation. Briefly describe the trigger, e.g., got a rejection email for a job. 2. Negative thought. Write down the exact thought and rate your belief in it from 0-100%, e.g., I'm not good enough, I'll never get hired. Belief, 90%. 3. Detective work. Challenge it. Write down all the evidence against it, e.g., I have a degree and experience. My friend said my resume is great. This is only the 3rd company I've applied to. It's a tough market for everyone. 4. Balanced thought. Write a new, more realistic and compassionate thought. Rate your belief in this new one. E.g., this rejection stings, but it doesn't define my worth. It's a normal part of the job hunt, and I have the skills to find the right role. Belief, 70%. Doing this just once can create a massive shift. You're training your brain to stop automatically accepting negative junk mail and to start looking for the truth. If you're already feeling a bit lighter, just hearing about these first 2 shifts, imagine what's possible when you put them into practice. If this is helping, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're all on this journey to a quieter mind together, and I'd love for you to be a part of this community. Shift number 3 might be the most crucial one for breaking the freeze. I call it the momentum shift. Overthinking and inaction are best friends. The more you think, the less you do. The less you do, the more you have to think about. It's a vicious cycle that leaves you feeling totally stuck. The antidote to analysis paralysis isn't more analysis, it's action. This is based on a powerful therapeutic technique called behavioral activation. The idea is brilliantly simple. Action changes feelings. You can't wait until you feel motivated or confident to start. You have to act first, even in a tiny way, and let the motivation and confidence catch up. Your brain is stuck predicting disasters. If I go to the gym, everyone will stare at me, or if I start that project, I'll just mess it up. Behavioral activation is about going out and collecting new, better evidence that proves those predictions wrong. When you're stuck overthinking, your world shrinks. Action expands it. The goal is not to solve the entire problem at once. That's overwhelming and just fuels more overthinking. The goal is to take one tiny step, a micro action. Don't think about writing the book, just write one sentence. Don't think about networking with 50 people, just send one email. Here's your third actionable step. Identify and execute one micro action. Think about one area where overthinking has you paralyzed. A career change, a health goal, a creative project. Now ask yourself, what is the absolute smallest, least intimidating action I can take in the next 24 hours to move forward? If you're overthinking a career change, your micro action isn't apply for 10 jobs. It's spend 15 minutes updating one section of my resume. If you're overthinking your health, your micro action isn't run a marathon. It's put on my sneakers and walk to the end of the block. If you're overthinking a tough conversation, your micro action isn't having the talk. It's just writing down 3 bullet points you want to cover. The key is to make the action so small it feels almost ridiculous not to do it. The moment you do it, you break the spell of inaction. You create a tiny spark of momentum. That small win sends a powerful message to your brain. Hey, look at that. I'm not helpless. I can do things. And that momentum is what you build on, one micro action at a time. And that brings us to our final shift, the one that ties everything together and makes it all stick. I call it the friend shift. Overthinking is often powered by a harsh inner critic. This is that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, you should have known better, and your mistakes are a catastrophe. Trying to fight that voice with more criticism just makes it louder. The real solution is to learn to treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a good friend. Self-compassion isn't about making excuses or letting yourself off the hook. It's about recognizing that being imperfect, making mistakes, and feeling difficult emotions are all universal parts of being human. It's about validating your own feelings. When a friend is struggling, you don't say, "What's wrong with you?" Get it together. You say, "This sounds so hard. It makes complete sense that you feel this way. I'm here for you." Self-compassion is simply turning that supportive voice inward. Dr. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher on this topic, breaks self-compassion into 3 parts. Mindfulness of our suffering, recognizing our common humanity, we aren't alone in our struggles, and self-kindness. When you make a mistake and the overthinking starts, the compassionate response is to first say, "Wow, this is a moment of suffering. This hurts." Then you remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes. And finally, you offer yourself a gesture of kindness. This could be supportive self-talk or even a physical gesture like placing a hand over your heart, which can actually help calm your nervous system. And here's your 4th actionable step. Create a self-compassion script. Think about the last time you were really hard on yourself. Listen to the harsh language your inner critic used. Now ask yourself this powerful question. What would I say to my best friend if they were in this exact situation and saying these things about themselves? Write it down. Create a script. The critic might scream, "I can't believe I said that in the meeting. I'm such an idiot." Your compassionate friend script would say, "Hey, it's okay. You were trying to contribute and maybe it didn't come out perfectly, but your intention was good. Everyone has awkward moments. This one moment doesn't define your intelligence. You're human." The next time you catch your inner critic taking over, pull out this script. Read it to yourself, silently or out loud. I know it will feel weird at first, but with practice, you will start to internalize this kinder, more supportive voice. You'll be rewiring your brain to motivate yourself with encouragement instead of fear, which is the key to real, lasting change. Being a prisoner in your own mind is exhausting. That constant noise, the second guessing, the the fear. It steals the joy from today and keeps you from building the future you want. But it does not have to be your reality. Change is possible, not by stopping your thoughts, but by changing your relationship to them. Today, we covered 4 powerful shifts to help you do just that. First, the observer shift. Catch your thoughts and watch them pass by without judgment. Second, the detective shift. Question your negative thoughts and find a more balanced truth. Third, the momentum shift. Break the cycle of paralysis by taking one small, deliberate action. And fourth, the friend shift. Replace that inner critic with a voice of genuine kindness and self-compassion. These are not one-time fixes. They are practices. They are muscles you build over time. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. Your journey out of overthinking starts with a single step. So, I have a question for you. Which of these 4 shifts will you try first? Let me know in the comments below. Committing to just one is a powerful first action. If you found this guide helpful and want more practical advice on how to quiet your mind and live a more intentional life, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't have to do this alone. Thank you for being here today. Start small, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.